Basic examples! Okay, today we're talking about adding numbers with units. We're saying everything is addition. We're adding bunches of things. Okay, and the rule for this is so easy. It is, you can only add and subtract numbers that have the same units. You got the same units, you can add them. If you don't, you can't. That's it. 4 apples plus 3 apples is 7 apples. It's pretty easy, right? You have apples, you add more apples, everything's added together, you have 7 of them. Not so complicated. If you had 4 apples and $2, you got 4 apples and $2. You can't call that 6 of something, right? You just have to leave it as 4 apples and $2. And this is why when you're adding bunches of things in a store's inventory, something like that, you can't just sum it up with one number. You have huge lists of numbers, and that's just fine. And in algebra, you get these long things called polynomials. Because polynomials, variables act exactly the same. 8x's minus 2x's, just think of them as things. 8 of something minus 2 of something is 6 of those things. Now, we didn't say 4 apples and 3 apples was 7 square apples or anything crazy like that. X's minus x's is just x's. Now, if you have 8x plus 5x squared, wait a second. That's not 13 of anything. Those are different things. X's and x squareds are different things. You just have to leave it as 8x plus 5x squared. And here's a huge useful tip for this. If you're ever thinking, now wait a second, what would my units be? 8 plus 5 is 13, but is it x's or x squared? If you don't know what the units are, odds are you just can't add the things together at all. Let's say you have 85x squared y minus 10x squared y. Now here we have exactly the same thing. X squared y's and x squared y's, 85 of these things, whatever they are, minus 10 of them is going to be 75. Or any kind of units. Meters. 10 meters and 17 meters is 27 meters. 10 seconds and 17 seconds is 27 seconds. If the units are exactly the same, you keep those exact units. 8 feet and 10 inches. Now, some people would say you can add these things, and you sort of can, but it's not going to be 18 of anything. Until you convert them, you have to just leave it as feet and inches. If you want to convert the feet into inches by multiplying by 12, okay, you can convert, that's one thing. But as the 8 and the 10, it doesn't make any sense to add those two numbers together. They represent different units. 45 miles an hour plus 20 miles per hour, these are exactly the same thing. We can combine them completely. 45 of something and 20 more, 65 miles an hour. 7 fifths minus 1 fifth is 6 fifths. We can look at fifths as a unit itself. If we wrote it with words, 7 fifths minus 1 fifth is 6 fifths. It works for radicals, square roots. 4 square root of 3 plus square root of 3. Now it might be a little tricky. You're like, wait, how many square root of 3's in the second one? That's 4 square root of 3 plus 1 square root of 3, or 5 square root of 3. This works for anything. Works all the time. Now in this particular case, we have the case where if the number is not written down, it's probably 1.